Now is the hour of your discontent. AR Tactical, 6.1 grams. 850 PSI. $414. 416. 420.
Dum dum dum.
Hey guys, Sean here. Vista LX68. To bolt spring or not to bolt spring, my bolt springs have arrived. Quick rundown. Factory bolt spring is 1.6 millimeters wire gauge, wire thickness by 60 millimeters length after much abuse. So imagine this spring was probably a little bit longer in its unused state, but we're calling it 60 millimeter length. And 21.5 millimeter OD, so outside diameter. We're calling it 22. This was the bolt spring I had been running in this stutter free. So 850 PSI, 1100 PSI. This is a 1.8 by 60 millimeter length, but you can see I cut the end. Cut ends are not ideal. You want closed ends. It makes for better spring alignment, but it worked. And it has a 22 millimeter OD. So there's a factory and my spring side by side. I did a pretty good job because obviously I cut this one a little long. So after I pounded on it, it turned out the identical size as the factory spring after a good pounding. Now in comes 1.8 by 60 millimeter length by 22 millimeter OD. So it has closed ends. It is the same size, but herein lies the problem. This is brand new. These are both used. You can see how the coils are a little bit closer together here. That's because they've been compressed. I don't know if this is going to work, but I loaded it in already. I didn't show you. I loaded the 1.8 by 22 by 60 or however order you want to put it inside this launcher now. We are going to shoot 850 PSI output, just like you saw in the beginning of the video. My cut spring was, we'll call it 50 joules. It was 49. It counted up, of all things, to about almost 50 joules using the 6 gram AR Tactical Duals. I just chose these arbitrarily because I just shot them in my LE. So the number to beat, if there is any gains, is 50 joules. But the bigger thing here I'm searching for is that reliability that I got with this cut spring. I also ordered some 50 millimeter length. So they're even shorter than what I showed here. Whether those will work or not, well, we got to start with the 60 mil first and see how that pans out. So I have 7, 6 AR Tactical Duals loaded up. And let's shoot them. I will be perfectly clear. I'm not expecting any gains from bolt springs. There may be like a smidge here and there based on the compressed length and how far that bolt is traveling, how much air it's letting out. But in most cases, changing your gauge of bolt spring tends to just move the power band around, most notably with CO2. You won't notice it with HBA. What you're going to notice with HBA is that stutter. Now on CO2, these bolt springs may perform entirely differently. And also, I don't know how they perform with somebody else's extension. This is the one from Taiwan, the one and only. So 420 is a number to beat.
Interesting. 370. Did I put the right projectiles in there? It's a bust. All that. Waited all that time, and my cut spring works better. Hey, these are the things that happened. So what? What do I know now? What do I know? This was, my cut spring was 65 millimeters to start. Can I order a 65 millimeter? That's a very good question. I'll have to reinstall this. We'll just double check that this is a spring problem. And yeah, I'll have to search out another spring. Then the brakes sometimes. Well, gee, guys, you can't make this stuff up. Factory spring stuttered. My cut spring worked. 60 millimeter closed end spring, you just saw utter failure. FPS was down and it stuttered. Hail Mary. I put in the 50 millimeter spring. Disappointment turned to excitement. I don't know. Then this is why I don't like to just go out there and call it out and give you guys a link or whatever, because until I have the product I am actually using in my hand, I have no idea what's going on. I mean, remember this stuff's made offshore. I mean, who knows? Maybe these 50 millimeters were finished a little stronger. But in this case, I got it loaded up with the 50 millimeter spring. I put my adapters in because the telltale is whether 1100 PSI will run through this. So 6 grams loaded back up in there, aired up. I'll shoot these and then we'll toss on the 1100 and see if it stutters. 1.8 by 50 millimeter by 22 millimeter OD spring, 850 PSI, 6.1 gram AR Tactical Joules. And the number to beat was 420. Right? Oh, yeah. I love it when a plan comes together. Or not. You just never know what you're going to get. 430. $428. Going in the wrong direction now, but you can tell by my smile and my laughter. I'm satisfied with that outcome. 1100 PSI. Coming right up. 6.1 grams. Load it back up. 1100 PSI. A strong 1100 PSI. $502. $502. $494. $492. $492. Save that one by the seat of my pants. I almost didn't even try that 50 millimeter spring. My first guess there is because that when I loaded that spring up and the first thing you saw was a velocity dropped. hard. Like I lost like 70 FPS. That tells me the spring was probably too long, or there was some dynamic about it that it wasn't compressing as small, as short as my cut spring or as the factory spring for that matter. What that does, the bolt doesn't open all the way. It doesn't let all the air out, and that limit when the air's rushing out kind of bangs that bolt, and that is where you get the stutter. It can also be from it not being strong enough and the bolt is flying all the way forward, and again the air is trying to get out and it keeps bumping into it and just knocks and goes. So 50 millimeter it is for now. Now everybody, don't go rush out and buy this spring. This is a problem associated with my setup. You may or may not have this problem, so it's not something if your launcher is working, don't change anything. And this is obviously just the first test. I need to put more rounds through this spring to make sure that it holds up, but I had to put it out there because I know a lot of you were kind of chomping at the bit, and I have heard a couple of instances of stuttering. So I hope this can help you. These springs are dirt cheap. They're from China, of course. This whole pack of them was like $5 and the shipping was like $3, and it took 2 weeks to get here. So I can't really complain about that. And you shouldn't either if they don't work for you, so take it with a grain of salt.